In the following slides, we will clarify some key related and overlapped concepts mentioned in the previous definitions. And as we said, they are components of human intelligence or human general intelligence. The first definition of intelligence that already we have covered, it says intelligence is the individual's ability to formulate and use abstract concepts. So we have to highlight some about the meaning of abstract concepts or abstraction, which is in contrast to the concept concrete concepts. So we have abstract concepts, we have concrete concepts, we have abstraction, we have concreteness. What is the difference between these concepts? What's the meaning of abstract concepts? What's the meaning of concrete concepts? And what is the difference between them? Abstract concept is an idea that you can understand, but it has no physical form, such as, for example, such as freedom, love. It is an idea that you can understand it, but it has no physical form. And always, while we are talking about these concepts, try to relate them to artificial intelligence. Artificial intelligence, it is a way to recreate intelligence, human intelligence, and its components in an artificial way. Do you think the machine or robot will be able to think in abstracted way? It is a challenge, but I think it could be. We can also define abstract concept as the ability to identify, understand, and communicate abstract concepts. And of course, abstract concepts are significant elements of human intelligence. So we can say abstraction is a significant element of human intelligence. One may think that, and this is a very big mistake, that all abstract concepts, because they are have no physical, they are having no physical forms, they will not be real, as they can be documented with evidence. But this is mistake. All natural language have words for abstract concepts. For example, the word freedom is a completely an abstract concept that cannot directly perceived or measured, but you can understand it, you can comprehend it with your mind, but it has no physical form. And you have to know that learning a new language allows an individual to acquire new abstract concepts and result in new thought processes. Now, what about the opposite of abstract concept, which is referred to as concrete concept? What is the meaning of concrete concept? Concrete concept is directly opposite to abstract concept. As we said before, in abstract concept, we can name things that are not available to senses. But while We can, in abstraction, we can name things that are not available to the senses. In concrete concepts, we name things that are available already to our senses. And as examples of this, spoon, table, eye, nose, green, hot, walking, all of these are concrete concepts. So we can define concrete terms or concrete concepts as they are referred to objects or events that are available to the senses. In one of the definitions that mentioned before about intelligence, it says intelligence is the ability to solve problems and to develop new insights and ideas. So we have to clarify the meaning of insight and idea. The meaning of insight is the capacity to gain an accurate and deep understanding. So the core element here is deep understanding of someone or something. What about idea? Idea is a thought or suggestion as to a possible course of action. So idea may equal thought or suggestion. And because the definition involves the meaning of problem solving in defining intelligence, I would like to remind you with the meaning of problem solving what we highlight in the first two lectures, and also we recapping it in lecture 3. Problem solving means the process of finding a solution to simple, difficult, or complex issues or complex ideas. So we have three kinds of problems that we can deal with: simple, compound, and complex problems. And of course, simple and compound problems can be solved by standard approaches, but complex problems differ in that they are dynamic in nature. So in complex problem you need to develop new knowledge and new skills in order to be able to solve them. So the compound problem are dynamic in nature. Why are these kind of problems dynamic in nature, and why do this complex problem require the development of new knowledge or skills? As we said before, because they are characterized by two main characteristics. Number one, rapid appearance of new patterns. So we have a change, continuous change in the problem itself. And also number two, the presence of interactions between different components of the problem and other related factors. So they are difficult, this interaction are difficult to be comprehended with the standard approaches. So we need to develop new skills and also new ways to solve this problem. And also we need more knowledge or new knowledge to be able to solve this problem. So this means that a complex problem can rarely be solved without developing new skills and new knowledge. As we said before, David Wexler had defined intelligence as the aggregate or global capacity of the individual to act purposefully and to think rationally, and also to deal with his environment. So we have to highlight the meaning of rationally. Rationally, it means by reasonable or logical means. In other words, in a sensible or logical manner. This is the definition of rational. Other researchers suggest intelligence is composed of various processes, such as memory, reasoning, intention, generation of action, attention, and perception. I think you have to know some about the meaning of perception. What is the meaning of perception? Perception is the process or result of becoming aware of objects, relationship, and events. And this can be done by means of the senses and includes activities it includes activities such as recognizing, observing, discriminating. So again, perception is the process or result of becoming aware of objects, relationships, and events by means of the senses, and which includes perception includes activities such as recognizing, observing, discriminating. And these activities will enable the organism, humans and also animals, to recognize and interpret the stimuli and explain the stimuli received into meaningful knowledge, and also to, to act in a coordinated manner. I think we have to reflect on the meaning of perception and how could we apply this concept in the area of artificial intelligence. Again, the definition again to reflect on it, it is the process or result of becoming aware of objects, relationship, and events by means of senses, which includes activities as recognizing, observing, discriminating, and these activities enable the organism, number one, to organize and interpret stimuli received into meaningful knowledge, and also will enable the organism to act in a coordinated way or coordinated manner. Another concept related to perception is referred to as percept. Percept is the product of perception, the stimulus objects or event as experienced by the individual. The stimulus object or event as experienced by the individual. So it is the product, the outcome of the perception is referred to as percept. More terminologies in the area of perception is referred one is referred to as perception of spatial relationships, and I think this is very significant and important in the computer vision, which is related to many acts that we hope the machine will be able to perform it, such as the example mentioned before about the smart car or autonomous driving. So, what is the meaning of perception of spatial relations? Perception of spatial relations means an awareness of the static or dynamic spatial properties of an object. So, spatial properties are such as its extent or shape, the relative location, and orientation of stationary or moving objects in space. Again, it is awareness of the static or dynamic spatial properties. Please, I will remind you with the slide that discussed before regarding the smart car. Reflect on again on this example. The slide talks about itself. So, without any comment from me, please check this slide again, and reflect on the importance of perception or the perception of spatial relations. More concepts related to perception is referred to as perception deafness. It refers to the inability to analyze or perceive sounds normally due to some impairment of the inner ear or auditory nerve pathways leading to the brain. In general, intelligence could be defined as the intellectual capacity of humans, which is characterized by perception, self awareness, volition, understanding, reasoning, recognizing patterns, comprehension, plan, problem solving, using language to communicate, and intelligence can enable the human to experience and think. So I think in this definition we have a lot of concepts that should be clarified and should be highlighted. One of them is self awareness. What is the meaning of self awareness? It means self focused attention or knowledge, and there has been a controversy over whether non human animals have self awareness or not. What about what more about self awareness? Evidence of this in animals most often is determined by whether an individual can use a mirror to groom an unseen spot on its own forehead or not. We have experiments, and some animals already can pass this exam. So some researcher assume that self-awareness could be in the case of animals. What's the meaning of volition? The definition of volition as follows: it is the faculty by which an individual decides upon and commits to a particular course of action, especially when this occurs without direct external influence. Also, in our definitions to intelligence, we mentioned that one core element in intelligence is the ability to understand or understanding. What is the meaning of understanding? What do we mean by understanding? Understanding is overlapped with the insight, which some researchers consider it as deep understanding. So we can explain or define understanding as the process of gaining insight about oneself or others, or comprehending the, the meaning or significance of something, such as a word, concept, argument, or event, and so on. So we have an overlap between understanding and insight. We can define each one, anyone by the other. They are overlapped with each other, and the process of understanding refers to the ability of gaining insight about oneself or others, and also it refers to ability to comprehend the meaning or significance of something, such as word, concept, argument, or event. In our explaining the mean of intelligence, we mentioned that intelligence includes the ability for reasoning. What's the meaning of reasoning? We have two definitions of reasoning. We can say it is thinking in which logical processes of an inductive or deductive character are used to draw conclusions from facts or premises. Premises. It is also can be defined as the sequence of arguments or proofs that used to establish a conclusion in this way. But in the first definition, we mentioned the inductive and the deductive reasoning. So we have to know some about the deductive and inductive reasoning. In deductive reasoning, it is the form of logical reasoning in which a conclusion is shown to follow necessarily from a sequence of premises that the first of which stands for a self-evident truth. And in empirical science, deductive reasoning underlies the process of deriving predictions from general laws or theories. Deductive reasoning is in contrast to the inductive one. Inductive reasoning means the form of reasoning in which inference and general principles are drawn from specific observations and cases. This is the meaning of deductive and inductive reasoning, which included in the definition of reasoning. Now, what about the meaning of reasoning test? Reasoning test is a test of skills in inductive thinking or deductive thinking or both. For example, number series, classification of words, and this is induction, various kinds of syllogism. And syllogism is a form of reasoning in which a conclusion is drawn from two given or assumed propositions. So this is like this slide gives you examples of ways to assess, to test or measure reasoning from number series, classification of words, various kinds of syllogism. I think now you are able to figure out the meaning of reasoning and how is reasoning done in our brain and how to assess reasoning. Uh, these two slides differentiate between deductive reasoning and inductive one. In deductive reasoning, it is a form of logical reasoning in which a conclusion is shown to follow necessarily from a sequence of premises that the first of which stands for a self-evident truth. In the empirical sciences, deductive reasoning underlies the process of deriving predictions from general laws or theories. Deductive reasoning is in contrast to inductive one, which is a form of reasoning in which general principles are drawn from specific observations and cases. In our definition to intelligence, we refer to the ability of recognizing patterns. What's the meaning of pattern in psychology and in cognitive psychology?